Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into an absolutely fascinating, truly ancient historical account. It's a story packed with incredible divine blessings, a massive test of faith, and, well, ultimately a pretty devastating failure. Whether you know this text back to front or you're hearing these specific details for the very first time, the psychological and moral themes here are just profoundly deep. We're going to break down exactly what happened when a group of people were handed literally everything, but were still asked to take one final terrifying step forward.
So this brings us to the central mystery we're unpacking today. How did a people who received miracles directly from the sky, people who saw the impossible unfold right in front of their own eyes, somehow end up cursed to wander a harsh, barren desert as outcasts for 4 whole decades? It's a massive dramatic shift, right? Going from experiencing undeniable miracles to just becoming lost wanderers. To figure out how things went so completely off the rails, we really have to go back to the start of their journey.
Section 1. Blessings in the Desert, a Test of Action.
Now, according to the source narrative, the Israelites had already made a covenant with Allah, but, saying the words and actually putting them into action, totally different story. Let's set the scene here. They find themselves stuck in the desert of T, and we need to grasp the sheer, harsh reality of this place. This wasn't somewhere you could just forage for berries or plant a quick crop. It was a barren, brutal wilderness. The text makes it crystal clear. They had zero arrangements for food or water, none. They were completely vulnerable, exposed to the elements, and entirely reliant on divine intervention just to make it through the day. But intervention is exactly what they got. Right in the middle of this unforgiving wasteland, the text describes how Allah provided them with special, miraculous sustenance. We're talking about manna and sawa, food literally descending right out of the sky. It's this incredible, vivid image of divine care right in the middle of total desolation. But the source material actually asks us to look a bit closer at why this was happening.
And this brings us to the core thesis of the text regarding these miracles. You see, manna and sawa had this dual nature. First off, yes, they were absolutely a divine blessing for survival. Without them, the people wouldn't make it. But point 2 is the real kicker here. They were a profound test of obedience. These sky miracles weren't just free gifts meant to make life easy. They were the start of a deliberate divine test to see if the reliance on God would actually translate into following His commands.
Section 2. The Divine Command, the Promise of Inheritance. Okay, so they're fed, they're protected, and now comes the call to action. Prophet Musa, Moses, delivers explicit step-by-step instructions to his people. Step 1, advance toward Bait-ul-Muqaddas, the Holy Land. Step 2, actually enter it. Don't just stand at the border and look at it, walk into it. And step 3, become the heirs of the land. The text is super specific about this. This was not framed as some risky military campaign. It was a guaranteed divine promise. God promised them that if they just marched in, they would inherit the land. The outcome was literally already assured by a higher power.
Section 3. The Ultimate Defiance. Fear over faith.
But, human nature is complicated, right? And here we hit the climax of the historical account. Look at this massive contrast. On one hand, we have Allah's command. They have absolute divine backing. The creator of the universe, the one who literally just fed them out of thin air, is telling them to step up and take their inheritance. But on the other hand, look at the people's reaction. They hear rumors about these powerful, strong inhabitants living in that land, and they freeze. They are instantly paralyzed. It's like all memory of the miracles they just lived through completely vanishes, replaced by this overwhelming, absolute fear. They just flat out refuse to move.
And it all culminates in this stark, honestly shocking quotation recorded in the text. They look right at their prophet and say, "O Musa, we will never go there as long as those people are present. You and your Lord go fight. We are sitting right here." Just let the audacity of that sink in for a second. You and your Lord go fight. It is the ultimate moment of cowardice. It shows this complete and total lack of trust in the exact same God who had just been keeping them alive in the desert. Basically, they wanted all the blessings, but they completely refused the trial. Section 4. The Consequence. Decades of Banishment.
Now, you definitely can't have an outright rebellion like that without some major, severe fallout. 40 years. Because of their absolute defiance, their complete refusal to trust that divine promise, entry into the Holy Land was forbidden to them for a massive 40 years. An entire generation would have to pass.
And the punishment here? It's as poetic as it is severe.
They were condemned to aimlessly wander the exact same barren desert they were already standing in. They weren't locked up in chains, they were trapped by their own disobedience. The desert of T, which was only ever supposed to be this temporary staging ground to learn trust, well, it became their long-term prison. It was a direct, literal consequence of their own rebellion and fear.
Section 5. The final lesson, Tawakko versus fear. You see, the source material doesn't just present this as some dry history lesson. It frames the whole thing as a deeply moral cautionary tale. On one side, we see exactly what happens when you succumb to fear. As the text illustrates, it results in a missed destiny. You just end up wandering aimlessly, completely missing out on the exact promises that were meant for you. But on the flip side, we have the alternative, advancing with tawakkul. Tawakkul is this really profound concept of absolute, unshakable trust and reliance on the divine. The text wraps up by showing that when God, or a higher purpose, clearly lays out the path to success, true faith demands that you step forward with that absolute trust. You just have to take the step, even if the obstacles ahead look incredibly terrifying.
It's such a powerful narrative about human frailty, the comfort of miracles, and the absolute non-negotiable necessity of courage. So I want to leave you with the very same question the source text poses. What do you think about this cautionary tale? How often do we let the fear of the giant obstacles right in front of us make us completely forget the provisions and miracles we've already been given? Think about that, really reflect on it, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.